Good afternoon, everyone. This is Shilpa here. Warm welcome to Poetry Festival Singapore's 10th anniversary celebrations. This is an afternoon which brings Singapore Literature Prize winners under one roof. And it's your chance to listen to them, listen to their wonderful voices. Yeah? So I'm just going to start with the formal things which we need to say. So, welcome to Verse Unbound, a reading by Singapore Literature Prize winners, organized as a 10th edition of Poetry Festival Singapore. In line with the festival's theme of Unbound, we make space for diverse communities and witness the transcendental power of the written word that often challenges the preconceived notions around poetry. We navigate the gray areas between boundaries of language, space, and medium to contemplate what poetry is and how it can be unfettered and unbound. It is my privilege to welcome old friends and new to the special session of Poetic Brilliance featuring past winners of the prestigious Singapore Literature Prize in our nation's 4 national languages, whose words reside in the imagination of the readers, whose verse displays tremendous rigor in terms of language and expression, whose words have strong evidence of the lyricism as they interweave the whimsical, the truth, the historical, and the personal. Their works have brought comfort, strength, inspiration, and motivation to the masses, and their verse lingers in the minds even after we keep our books down. And as stated by Ezra Pound, the how much you can mean it, the how you feel about meaning it, can all be put into language. So with that, and a small acknowledgement to the Singapore Book Council for championing multilingual Singapore literature. Yeah? So please join me in welcoming the Singapore Literature Prize awardees. Our first reader, Mr. Desmond Francis Xavier Korn Zicheng Mingde, is the author of an epistolary novel, a quasi-memoir, 2 lyric essay, monographs, 4 hybrid works, 9 poetry collections, and a creative guided journal. A former journalist, he has edited more than 20 books and co-produced 3 audiobooks. Among other accolades, he is the recipient of the IBPA Benjamin Franklin Award, Singapore Literature Prize, Poetry World Cup, 2 Illumination Christian Book Awards, 2 Independent Publisher Book Awards, and 5 Living Now Book Awards. And Desmond can be found at desmondkorn.com, but he can also be found here. Please welcome Desmond Korn.
Oh, actually. Hello, everyone, for being here. So I've got 2 poems. These are new poems. The first one is titled Dear Pascal Candle, 11th Setting. Meme. Wooden table high as priest's knee, draped in all colors and properly, not proudly, the tabernacle. No roof over their heads, the priest speaking to children. No walls, no pews, only a big rug thrown over the grassless ground. This village you see, somewhere in South India, the early church exists. No more than a dozen, children that is, yet how they looked up at hands holding the sacrifice, their own held up hands, their smiling faces, the joy, the honest longing. This was after I saw a picture on social media where this priest was doing exactly this. So it was very easy to write this poem. And I was so surprised because most of the time now, I'm a Roman Catholic and we go to churches, we love the sort of statues and the architecture. But then to see how the Mass was done for the people was amazing. And there was another also social media post where this, in Africa, this priest actually walked 6 hours just to get to a village to have mass with the villagers there, which is really stunning, because here, we go for mass and we don't realize that in other countries it's actually very difficult for them to even have it. Okay, my second poem is Dear Pascal Candle, 12th setting, shape 2. So I've got lots in this Dear Pascal Candle series, and these are just two of them. Here's the poem. The sphere of meaning past the originary sign itself, how originary means the same, yet more, just enough to make distinct, yet more, just enough to make particular. Another word I go back to like originary, and how origins are all we return to after all. And what origins we return to after all is said and done, the simpleness and simplicity of language down to its own skin, ephemera, of meaning wrapped up in the sign, but always to the stable signified, even if meaning exists in a moment, forever. So I teach creative writing at NTU, and I'm always interested in the ideas of language as a signifying practice, and to understand the transcendental signified in religious poetry, as well as how language operates for us poets in relation to our own spirituality. So those are the things that I'm really invested in and interested in as a poet now, thinking about meaning and all those wonderful things as a reader and a writer. Yep. Okay, that's it.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah. Well, it will be criminal if I have you all here and I do not ask you all a question.
Okay.
I'm sure it's burning inside everyone. So my question to you, Des, is that your work has the breadth and length of so many themes, right? Theology, philosophy, literature, prose, poetry, etc.
Yeah.
So how do you see yourself evolved as a writer over these years? And do you see a shift in your writing lately?
Yeah. So now I'm a confessional poet. When a lot of my earlier works, I was actually, quasi-confessional, post-confessional, anything but confessional. I like to play games of language, but then now I like it at this age where a lot of the stuff, I'm still very aware of, the discourse of what truth is and everything, but then I think that I can most comfortably call myself a confessional poet now.
Lovely. And you have a book coming up?
Yes.
What is up, Shelley?
Yes. So it's a very Catholic book. Okay. It's my most. It's titled Heart Fiat, and it's coming out in September, just in time for Pope Francis's visit. So I'm very happy. I'm dedicating the first edition to Pope Francis. So that's exciting.
Wow.
Yeah, it'll be ready. It'll actually be out of the fresh off the press in 2 weeks. So I'll get it before that.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm very happy. Yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah,
Thank
congratulations in anticipation for that.
Yeah, thank you, Shilpa. Thank you so much. Shilpa's a wonderful poet herself.
Thank you.
Confessional too, right?
Yeah.
Definitely. Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Shilpa. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much. Big round of applause. Yes. Thank you, Desmond. Okay. On to our next reader, Mr. Ang Ishang. He's a multi-genre writer, researcher, and activist. His books include the short story collection Lion City and the poetry collection Last Boy, both winners of the Singapore Literature Prize. SQ21, the Singapore Queers in 21st Century, Loud Poems for a Very Obliging Audience, and Black Waters, Pink Sands. Additionally, he served as the editor of A Mosque in the Jungle, Classic Ghost Stories by Othman Walk, and Exhale, an anthology of queer Singapore voices, as translator for Wong Yun Wa's The New Village and Homecomings. He tweets and Instagrams at Ishkabo. Welcome, Zhang. Yes.
Hey, I've got two poems today. One more one of those experimental page poets. Page poems, which I think I wrote during Singapore Rhymo. It's called, I thought since Poetry Festival Singapore is special for being a multilingual festival, I'll try a multilingual poem.
Thank you.
So it's called Sastra Xue Nusanyang Thara, which is an attempt to, combine, Sastra and Nusantara with, Nanyang Wenxue. Yeah, so it's... The Sinker, is writing pantun. His pigtail, Kunfa, dangles raw between his teeth. His brow and inkstone, both are dark and sweaty. He does not know the tropic idiom, Peribahasa, cannot translate his keras speech to halus, Siu Cai Yu Tao Ping, nor find libraries in the ruckus of Pasha, Pasa, Bazaar. Worst of all, he cannot grow the floral symbols in his heart, 胸有成竹, cannot tell his own pembayang, yin yin from maksud. It is no good. Had he but world enough and time, Yisun Guanyin, Yisun Sing, Sikit Sikit, Lama Lama, Menjadi Bukit, he could compose the epic poem of his people, her people. Shaya says he pendatang, nan yuzi, but he is tired. His dockyard coolie, labor still awaits. There are no words. Perhaps he'll send his son to English school. Oh, well, isn't overhead projection great? Okay, and continuing the multilingual theme, I will write a poem. I can't write poems in my mother tongue, which is Hokkien, but so this is a poem about my mother tongue. Okay. There's a famous poem by Mexican-American writer Sandra Cisneros called You Bring Out the Mexican in Me. So one of my early slam poems was called You Bring Out the Hokkien in Me. You bring out the Hokkien in me. The kong ba pao, the ngao tung, the omelette studded with oysters, the sambal and limao on yellow noodles. You bring out the Hokkien in me, the sugarcane shoots on the new year, the kimchua and pomelos, the nian kao to seal the lips of the gods, the huat gui to explode them. Inside me are spirits. I'm a Thangki possessed by a Taoist legend. I'm a Kerthai singer, caterwauling Ban Chun Hong to a row of empty chairs. Inside me is war. I'm a Penkia crouched in a foxhole, murdering on my mind, eyes full of anger, pants full of filth, eardrums full of cell phone techno. Inside me is wealth. I'm the Taukenyo, wrapped tight in her Gyeongsam like Bachang, beating the maid from a southern archipelago to the floor. Inside me is sex. I'm the Wosia girls on the streets of Kuala Lumpur. I'm my misshapen penis. I'm your mother's smelly vagina. I'm my ancestors. Look how I crossed the sea on a wave of famine and debt. I sell my coolie body's bitter strength for a puff of opium. I eat barbarian food. I fuck aquas in Bugis and Cantonese Kwe. I die of dysentery on the steps of Ma Cho's temple. I leave behind a widow with too many daughters and not enough sons. She feeds them broken rice instead of milk, and they grow strong. They dump her in an old folks' home in Johor and change her religion on her deathbed. They gamble their souls on the license plate numbers of the cars that killed their children. I'm a barbarian. I'm a filmmaker, banned too many times by the censorship board. I'm the chair of a communist university, repatriated to China. But I'm barely Chinese. I'll wage war on the empire if you feed me poison or make me speak your language. Watch my water sleeves. My face is painted half demon, half monkey. I am ever hungry. You bring out the soup with pig's stomach and liver in me. You bring up the kway teow with ham, the kiam he and kiam cai. But I'm still empty. I'm ever angry. You bring out a Taiwanese parliament, I'll start a fist fight in it. Guan Yin and Guan Gong are duking it out in my soul over the bones of Lee Kuan Yew. Forgive me. Here's civilization. Here a city where everything works, where the women are kind, and the men are faithful, and the gods are incorrupt. 但是我是福建人，真正歹勢啦。我愛食，愛喝，愛趁錢。有人無歡喜安尼做嘅人，但是你輸甲我，歹勢啊。
Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. I mean, your expressive and performative style is legendary. Everyone knows that. You also delve into theater, right? Ishan, could you tell us something about that?
Yeah. I mean, right now I'm doing a lot of fiction, but when I was in secondary school, like the things that I got into were the poetry scene, which was starting to really be invigorated by the Alvin Pang and Yong Shu Hong's and Yang Kai Chai's generation, and also the theater scene. I mean, it's the people who emerged in the 90s. I was born in 1980, so I was like a teenager tagging along with these Gen Xers.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was so I was part of these two very vigorous fronts. And one thing that was really important about theater was because there were big language barriers in fiction and poetry, although that people were trying. But in theater, we were just going to each other's plays. And so, and collaborating with each other. I saw one of Kuo Pao Kun's last plays. I've seen other poets, playwrights like Isa Kamari, and also understood like the huge activist side or associated with the Singapore poetry, with the Singapore and theatre tradition, which is more prominent in theatre.
Wow.
Free Palestine, etc.
Okay. So you find something, you find that the plays are more expressive as compared to poetry, or do you feel that poetry is solitary, whereas the plays give you this chance to be right in front over there, your more activist side?
It's hard to say. I think plays get more publicity in Singapore. They used to get even more publicity because people would be writing criticism of them. When there was more censorship, even the act of censorship would create controversy. But right now, both sides have become very bourgeois. Yeah, so which is why we may need armed revolution.
Okay.
This is why we might need armed revolution.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you, Ishang. Thank you for that. Wonderful. Okay. Our next poet, Miss Inba, is a poet and writer who has published 5 collections, 1 short story collection, and 2 compilations. She is the head of Kavi Malai, the Society of Singapore Tamil Poets. Warm welcome to Miss Inba.
A very good evening to everyone. After seeing the Hokkien poetry, I would like to read Tamil poetry. So this poem is all about how you love Tamil language. So I changed my mind. This is not the poem I'm going to read here first. Okay. Sorry about it, but I wish to. Okay, so this poem is all about how you passionate with your language. In my Tamil version, நெஞ்சின் அடிமுரத்தில் தங்கிய மொழி திறந்து கிடக்கும் பேனாமூடியை நகர்த்திவிட்டு காகிதத்திலிருந்து பறந்து போகும் காற்றின் இறகுகளால் எனது விழிப்பள்ளங்களில் நாவற்பழங்களை செருகி நுதலில் வெற்றிப்பூவை வரைந்து மொழியை நாவால் மெல்ல அருந்துகிறேன். Which means I'm eating the language. கண்களை மூடிக்கொண்டு முகில்களை விளக்கியபடியே காற்றை கையில் பற்றி கொண்டு வானவில்லில் ஏறி நட்சத்திர படிகளில் அமர்ந்து கொள்கிறேன். ஆதி பூதங்கள் கட்டிய சேலையின் முந்தானையை பிடித்து கொண்டு சுற்றுகிறேன். மாறாப்பை விலக்கி தாய்ப்பாலை அருந்துகிறேன். அதன் மடியில் கதகதப்பில் படுத்து உறங்குகிறேன். ஏலக்காய் நகங்களில் 7 வர்ணங்களை பூசிக்கொண்ட சுடிதார் போட்ட காளிகளிடமும் வாயில் வேலேந்தும் ஜீன்ஸ் முருகன்களிடமும் ஆதிமொழி சிவந்து கிடந்தாலும் சிங்க வயலில் பூத்து கிடக்கும் ஆர்க்கிட் மலர்களின் மகரந்தங்களை தின்று நான் பட்டாம்பூச்சியாய் பறக்கின்றேன். தாய்ப்பசுவின் மடி தேடும் கன்றுக்குட்டியாய் மொழியை மெல்ல நான் அருந்துகிறேன். வாஞ்சையுடன் உதடுகளை ஈரமாக்கி பசு என்னை தடவி கொடுக்கின்றது. முற்றத்து அந்தி வெயிலில் அமர்ந்து மொழிகளை முரத்திலிட்டு இருபுறமும் சாய்த்து சாய்த்து புடைத்து ஆடிக்களைத்த உமிகளை ஊதி தள்ளிவிட என் நெஞ்சின் அடிமுரத்தில் தங்கி நிற்கின்றது அன்னை மொழி. என் உள்ளங்கை வெற்றிலை நரம்புகளுக்கிடையே மை தடவி பார்க்கின்றேன். காவிரி பூந்தடாகத்தில் ஆட்டனத்தியோடு அகலிகை ஆடிக்கொண்டிருக்க சீதையும் சூர்ப்பனகையும் கும்மாளமாய் குளிக்கின்றார்கள். கண்ணகியும் மாதவியும் கைகோர்த்து கரையோரமாய் நடந்து செல்கிறார்கள். அவ்வையோடு அமர்ந்து நான் கணினியில் கவிதை எழுதுகிறேன். மொழி மெல்ல மெல்ல நகர்ந்து முதுகுத்தண்டின் ஏணிப்படிகளில் ஏறி கபால சுவற்றில் நிரந்தரமாய் அமர்ந்து கொண்டது. சட்டங்களும் விட்டங்களும் வறண்டு போயிருக்க கல்லறையிலிருந்து லீ அனுப்பிய கடிதத்தின் ஒரு பகுதி, விரைவு சாலையின் ஓரங்கள் வீடமைப்பு பேட்டைகள், பதுங்கி இருக்கும் புகைப்பட கருவிகள், பேசும் மொழியை நகலெடுத்து ஒலி குறிப்புகளாக அனுப்பி வைக்கும் அன்னை மொழி பேசாதவர் வீட்டிற்கு அரசாணை அனுப்பி வைக்கப்படும். This poem is more on the satirical way of writing this language. So the last paragraph, what I have written here, if you do not speak your mother tongue at home, Mr. Lee will send a summon to you from the graveyard. Yeah, so that's the first poem is all about. The second poem is also something related to a satirical poem. So let me read the Tamil version.
That explains the smile which was there on your face when you were reading it, right?
Yes, that's so important then. Yeah. Okay. So உலகின் முதல் இதய துடிப்பு. This is more on I'm speaking with my heart. Conversation with my heart, I can say that. Okay. என் இதயத்தோடு அமர்ந்து தேநீர் அறிந்து கொண்டிருக்கின்றேன். எந்திரன் போல் இருக்கின்றாய், சுக்கு நூறாய் நொறுங்குகின்றாய், பின் தானாக ஒன்று கூடுகிறாய். எப்பொழுது துடிக்க வேண்டும், எப்பொழுது நிறுத்த வேண்டும் என்று தெரிந்து வைத்திருக்கின்றாய். என்னதான் நடக்கிறது என்றேன். எதுவும் செய்யாமலேயே எல்லாவற்றையும் செய்வேன் என்கிறது. துடிக்க மட்டுமே தெரிந்த உன் இதயத்திற்கு அழுத்தம் அதிகம்தான். ஆர்வமின்றி பேசவே பேசாது. காத்திருந்து கிடைக்கும் கலவைக்கு பின் இன்னும் வேகமாக துடிக்கின்றது. எத்தனையோ பேர் கால்பந்து போல் என் இதயத்தை உதைத்து விளையாடுகிறார்கள். என் மரடோனா மட்டும் உள்ளே இருந்திருந்தால் திருப்பி உதைத்திருப்பான். பெரும்பாணனின் மகிழ்ச்சியான பன்றிக்குட்டியின் வெட்டி எடுக்கப்பட்ட இதயம் துடித்து சிலிர்ப்பது போல் உன் இதயத்தையும் தனியாக வெட்டி எடுத்து மேசையின் மீது வைக்க வேண்டும். படம் வரைந்து பாகங்கள் குறித்த இடங்களை நான் மெல்ல தொட்டு பார்க்க வேண்டும். எப்படி துடிக்கிறதென ரசிக்க வேண்டும். பின் எடுத்து கடித்து சுவைக்க வேண்டும். எமிலியின் பறவை ஒன்று கீழிறங்கி நடந்து வருவது போல் என் இதயமும் இறங்கி தெருவில் நடந்து செல்கிறது. ஈரத்தரையில் மிதக்கிறது. பனியை குடிக்கிறது. சாரலின் ஈரத்தில் நனைகிறது. குளிர்காற்றில் மிதந்து செல்கிறது. வெயிலுக்கு வணக்கம் சொல்கிறது. மழையில் கரைகிறது. என் இதயத்திற்குள் சின்னஞ்சிறு ஊதுகுழல்கள் நுழைத்து செருகப்பட்டுள்ளன. அவை நீண்டு கொண்டே செல்கின்றன. என் இதயத்திற்குள் வீடு ஒன்றை கட்டி வைத்திருக்கின்றேன். யார் யாரோ வந்து போகிறார்கள். விருந்துக்கு வருபவர்கள் தங்கியும் விடுகிறார்கள். சிலர் உடைத்து நொறுக்குகிறார்கள். சிலர் கள்ளத்தனமாக சுவரேறி குதிக்கிறார்கள். இதயம் ஒரு நாள் என் மேசையின் மீது அமர்ந்து கொண்டது. என் எழுத்துக்களை படித்து கொண்டே தாளை கிழித்து போட்டுவிட்டது. பேனாவை பிடுங்கி தானே எழுத ஆரம்பித்தது. இதுவரையில் என் இதயத்துக்கு அருகில் யாரும் சென்றதே இல்லை. இதுவரையில் என் இதயத்தை யாரும் திருடியதே இல்லை. இதுவரையில் என் இதயத்தை யாரும் தொட்டதே இல்லை. என் இதயத்திற்குள் 1000 பிசாசுக்கள் ஒளிந்து கொண்டிருக்கின்றன. ஆசை எனும் மீன் என் இதயத்திற்குள் தான் வசித்துக் கொண்டிருக்கிறது. இன்று ஒரு கட்டெரும்பு நேராக என் இதயத்திற்குள் நுழைந்து விட்டது. என்னிடம் கருப்பை, இருதய பை என்று 2 பரிசுத்தமான பைகள் இருக்கின்றன. ஒவ்வொன்றிலும் அதிகபட்சம் 1.5 ounce திரவம்தான் இருக்கக்கூடும். அதை வைத்துக்கொண்டு இரண்டும் படுத்தி எடுக்கின்றன. என் இதயம் ஒரு சொற்களால் ஆன செங்கற்கூடு. ஏதோ ஒரு இதயத்தின் ஏதோ ஒரு முதல் துடிப்பு தான் இந்த உலகம் தொடங்க முதல் காரணம். I have this poetry in my English version. Can I read that also?
Okay.
It's more on very satirical poetry, so it's more fun.
Yeah. It's a quick one. We are
So
out of time.
quick one.
Yeah.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so the title is The First Heartbeat of the World. I was sitting and having tea with my heart. You seem like a machine. Smash it away, then assemble yourself and you come together. You know when to beat and when to stop. I wondered what's happening. Doing nothing, but doing everything. For my heart, which only knows to beat, the pressure is high. You speak with enthusiasm, waiting and dancing. After the first date, you beat even faster. So many people play with my heart like a football. If only my Maradona was inside, he would have kicked back. Like the heart of joyful pig, I want to cut out separately and placed on the table, draw a picture, touch and examine the places of the parts. I should have a marvel and how it beats for me, then slowly bite and taste it. Like Emily's bird descending and walking, my heart too descend and walks the streets, floating on the damp ground, drinking dew, soaking dampness, floating in the cold air, greeting the sun, melting in the rain, soaring the sky in the sounds of footsteps. Inside my heart, little blowpipes are inserted. I have built a house inside my heart. People come and go, visitors stay and leave. They bang and crush, climbing walls deceitfully and jumping out of the wall. One day, my heart climbed onto the desk, read and critique my writings, tore the paper, snatched the pen, and started writing. Until now, no one has come into my heart. Until now, no one has stolen my heart. Until now, no one has touched my heart. Inside my heart, thousands of demons hide. The thousands qualities are circled. The 100 million emotions beat. How many spirits are you nurturing? The mind is at war between the brain and heart. You are called a man, you are called a demon, you are called a devil. The battle stretches endlessly like the second feathered shuttlecock flying here and there. Last night, I bought some avocado fruits, naming them brain and heart, switched the heart and brain, and observed what happened. Both proved they are fools.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Miss Inva, for your lovely words. Thank you. We don't have time for another poem, but thank you so much. Such lovely words. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay. We now invite our next poet. My honor to invite Joshua Ip. He's a Singaporean poet, editor, and literary organizer. He has published 6-ish poetry collections. He will tell you about that. Edited 11 anthologies and co-founded Singlet Station, an overactive literary charity. His latest book, Own Self, Say Own Self. I hope I said that correctly. Landmark Books 2024 gathers new and selected poems from his last decade of writing. And you can find him at joshuaib.com. Yes. Warm welcome, Joshua.
Thanks, Shilpa. All right, thanks for coming. This poem is a translation of a Song Dynasty Chinese poet, Su Shi or Su Dongbo. The poem's called Shui Diao Ge Tou and has adapted a few times into Chinese pop by Teresa Ting in the 70s or 80s and by Fei Wong in the 90s. So my English translation is set in March 2020 and it's called Bandwidth Song. 明月几时有 When will you open the Zoom room? 把酒问青天 Glass in hand, I asked the internet 不知天上宫阙 In that palatial server farm 今夕是何年 Who knows what year it is today? 我欲乘风归去 I'd ride the fibers to their source 唯恐琼楼玉宇 But I fear those whirring racks and routers 高处不胜寒 High end and water cooled 起舞弄轻盈 With the dancing mirages of data 何时在人间 How far from IRL? 转逐个 swiping through 第七户 scrolling past 早 screen lit 无眠 sleepless 不应有恨 for all of net neutrality's promises 何时长相 Why does my connection only clear 别是缘 When I close the window 别是缘 I close the window 人有悲欢离合 Men mourn and revel part and meet 月有阴晴圆缺 Video blurs, clears, flows and blips 此事故难全 And always falters when we need it most 但愿人长久 Yet I wish we could stay like this 1,000 miles apart 千里 Staring at the same screen 共婵娟 Thank you. All right, the next one's from someone a bit more modern. This collection's called Own Self, Say Own Self. It's new and selected, so a bunch of old stuff from my old collections, and 44 new poems, which are mainly translations. So this one's a translation of the late Ying Pui Ran Lao Shi. The poem's called 暴雨 or Storm, from his last collection, Stone, 石头. 暴雨. Okay, you can see it. I'll read both the Chinese and the English. 这时候, this time, 是6月. It's June, sudden, 突如其来 as it comes, the 暴雨, a storm. 在我不设防 outside my undefended, the 窗外 window 倾泻 cascading. 我在 I before 电脑屏幕前 my screen 映梦魇的 for nightmares 雷声 thunder 想起了 remembering 一些 some 可能的 maybe 失落 lost 与伤害 and wound moment 稍稍 terribly 走神 lose it 不安 restless 的游标的 cursor between the scattered 在散漫的 lines 诗句间 hesitating 忧郁何等荒谬 how ridiculous 的暴雨 this storm 可能是我 perhaps 必要的历练 necessary or me 意味 or yet 可知 to be known The thunder 雷声 faints 佯装 a 巨人 giants footsteps 足音 steps 一步步 steps pressing closer 向我 towards 逼近 me It is already dusk 已经是黄昏了黑夜很快就来 Nightfall very quickly will come I to my 我对我 cursor 的游标说 say Properly 好好 pack up 收拾 this scattered 涣散的心 heart Carefully 细心 sort out 整理 our verses 我们还未 yet 完成的诗句 incomplete Thank you
So, Joshua, I just wanted to ask, we all know that he's founded Singlet Station as well as Singapore Remo, right?
Co-founded.
Yeah, co-founded, yes. Okay. So, it's been, what, 10 years now since you founded that? Yeah?
About 8 years for Singlet Station
8
about 10
years, wow, and it's going
Singapore.
strong, absolutely. So on behalf of the community, big thank you for that. And I found a lot of poetic community through Singapore Remo, so thank you for that. So what's your vision for the next 5 years, 10 years? Do you have anything in mind regarding forming another platform, poetry related?
To survive As a
Survival for
start.
all of us.
Survival is important.
Yes.
I mean, I think there are many things to be done in the scene, many areas to collaborate and to do more. I think spaces like spoken word and publishing need a bit more help if possible. So we're thinking about these areas.
Okay.
But because the National Arts Council is in the room, I can neither confirm nor deny anything that I'm doing in the next 1 year or so.
Okay.
But yes, we plan to do stuff,
Okay, okay.
which I will announce at some point.
Wonderful, wonderful. So we'll keep a lookout for all that, yeah, soon. Yeah.
All right, thanks.
Thank you so much. Thank you. A warm round of applause for him. Okay, and we now invite our next reader. Why is my screen? Okay, yes. Mr. Yong Shu Hong. Warm welcome. Mr. Yong Shu Hong has authored 7 poetry collections, including Frottage 2005 and The Viewing Party 2013, and which both won the Singapore Literature Prize. And the latest is The Anatomy of Wave 2022. He is the co-author of collaborative works, The Adopted Stories from Angkor, which was in 2015, Lost Bodies, Poems from Between Portugal and Home, 2016, and Lilla Torg, A Scandinavian Journey, which was in 2023. He is currently the festival director of Singapore Writers Festival, and he teaches part-time at Nanyang Technological University in Singapore. Warm welcome, Shu Hong. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Shilpa. I thought that I'm going to read like 2 poems, one from Frottage, which was published by First Fruits. I think my publisher is back there trying to get rid of the last few copies of the remaining stock. They're both linked. The other poem would be unpublished, but they're both linked by this imagery of fire. I suppose the first poem is about a metaphorical fire, and the second one is more about a physical fire. First flame. Encountering a poet so startling while flying over a forgotten ocean, I could only stare at his poem, startled. There within a men's magazine, trying to have something left over. And the sadness began. Realizing Jack Gilbert had died at the age of 87, I somehow recall a friend who once told me he had wept upon hearing about John Lennon's assassination. And later, when Kurt Cobain put a shotgun to his head, For Gilbert, the sadness has lingered so long, I couldn't shed the tears he had never wanted. Just reach for the poem again to relieve that very first tremor. So this was taken from the viewing party, which was shortlisted and won the co-won the Singapore Literature Prize in 2014. So that talks a little bit about my influence by this American poet, Jack Gilbert. But before that, I was actually also influenced by the Beat generation. So this next poem is a fairly new poem that's unpublished. I live in Bukit Panjang, and out of my bedroom window, I would sort of overlook the Fajar Secondary School. And in the distance, there's also the Hazel Park condominium, but before that, there's actually a flattered factory. And one day, it basically burst into flame and burned down. Then they rebuilt it, and then it had a newer roof. So I wrote two of the similar fragments from the viewing party that are similar to the one that I read just now, which is basically fragments of exactly 100 words each. And then I kind of revisited that idea of the flattered factory having been burned down, and then something was kind of like built over it. So this one is called How Long Does It Take an Airbag to Inflate? Because on the site of this flattered factory that's now been demolished, there's going to be a new condo that's going to come up from it. How long does it take an airbag to inflate? In a different lifetime, in another poem, in another book, I describe a huge blaze gutting a factory building I overlooked from my bedroom window. After repairs restored its roof, the factory remained standing a few years more, but is now razed to the ground. The perimeters hoarding, promising a new condo to take its spot. The mist reminding me of Stephen King's horrific tale about a thick, ominous mist hiding fantastical monsters. But what's rising from here will be no place for even fugitive fauna from a nearby reserve. Months later, they found 100 kilograms World War II bomb at the site. Army personnel came to detonate. All clear, and nothing changed. Facing the still flattened lot muddied by rain, I imagine an opaque cloud inflating to block the view of distant hills I'm already missing. Thank you.
Wow. Thank you. Both such diverse poems. Thank you so much. And you spoke about your leanings with the beat. So is that the Anatomy of Wave, your latest collection, is it about that? Could you tell us something about that?
I don't think I ever went back to the kind of very informal, casual way of writing. I suppose a little bit of that still remains in my writing style. Anyone who's familiar with the Beat generation will know that they basically broke some conventions in kind of redefining what poetry can be. So they are very informal, and people will probably look at it and wonder, oh, you know, this can be considered poetry.
Yeah.
And then as an aspiring writer, when I was much younger, I always find that very encouraging, because it's like something that I could possibly do, just looking at how easy it seemed from the way that the Beat poets were writing.
Wow. And with that, you were inspired, and you have gone on to win so many prizes. So it's heartiest congratulations for that, right? There's another very burning question. Like, I think everyone across here, you are taking the role of the Singapore Writers Festival in charge this year. What do you think is going to be different this year? What should we expect different this year?
Yeah, I was reminded that there's somebody from NAC in this room, so I'm also very careful about what I'm saying. Well, actually, in terms of my media engagement, I've sort of well rehearsed some of the answers, and actually that's one of the questions from the FAQ. Basically, how I felt about the Singapore Writers Festival is that my predecessors, they have all done great jobs.
Yes.
So when it's something that's kind of stable and it's been strengthening year to year, that's not something that I would want to kind of make drastic changes to. So to me, I feel like it's a matter of tightening the screws just to make sure that it is continuing in moving towards a certain direction. But the theme is in our nature, so I would question, aside from natural environment and protecting and saving the environment, what is in our human nature, what is in the nature of a festival in terms of encompassing the 4 languages. So I'm looking at what we might have sort of maybe forgotten along the way or deviate along the way and see whether we could continue to strengthen the multilingual track that PFS has been doing quite well on, and hopefully also broaden in terms of the, in terms of the mixture of the writers having that sort of interaction, so that it's crossing generation, also crossing languages, and hopefully also including some science writers that who can actually interact with the literary writers as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. You're a software background too, right?
I have a computer science degree, which I have used to some extent, but maybe not fully.
Okay, wonderful. Do you see the techie side of yourself coming in sometimes?
I suppose even in my poetry, the techie side is always trying to emerge and break free. So I hope to make use of some of those technical terms and appropriate for my own usage, and see whether that could also find a new use, a different kind of beauty in the context of poetry.
Nice. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I would now like to welcome our next reader, Farihan Barun. He's a Singaporean Malay writer and publisher who's won several accolades, including the Anugerah Harapan, which is the Promising Award in 2017, the Singapore Literature Prize in 2018 and 2022, and the Anugerah Perusaratan Literary Award in 2021 and 2023. His creative works spanning poetry and short stories have consistently excelled in writing competitions like the Golden Point Award 2003 and 2015, and the Mensari Kristai, which is in 2016. And he was honored with the Penggaran Sastrawan Muda Young Laureate Appreciation by the Mastera Indonesia, which is Southeast Asia Literary Council. A warm welcome, Farihan.
Hi, hello everyone. My apologies. Actually, there's a title of my poem. The title of my poem is Maafkan Aku, which essentially means my apologies. So, maafkan aku kawan, sebab lambat hadir. Majlis jamuan makan, kenduri lahir. Aku kurang perasan waktu semakin hampir, sebab sibuk melayan anak kucing ke hulu hilir. Golek loncat riang sakan bikin senyum terukir. Aku betul, janji ini saluran YouTube yang terakhir. So just okay. I was just trying to translate that the protagonist in that first verse was apologizing to his friend that he's going to be late for an appointment because he's busy watching cat videos on YouTube. So there's a joke between Malay friends, like if your Malay friend says he's on the way, don't believe him. He's probably doing something else. So maafkan aku kawan, maafkan aku teman, aku lupa menjawab salam. Sebab bergambar kiri kanan pagi petang siang malam. Busana terkini dan juadah makan setapak langkah mesti dirakam. Takut, tulat, tubin, lupa ingatan. Entah abu yang digenggam. Tunggu dulu teman, sebelum aku habiskan salam. Izinkan aku muat naikkan hidup matiku ke Instagram. Yeah, I think probably. We can guess that this protagonist, he says, sorry, I don't have the time to finish your greetings because I'm busy uploading my life story to Instagram. So the next verse, maafkan aku rakan, aku tak sempat bertepuk, menyambut kegirangan pangkatmu naik tanduk. Mungkin aku kalis kekuasaan atau betul sedang sibuk-sibuk mencetus pertikaian dengan hadis mauduk. Aku pemangkin kelalaian dengan jenaka lapuk. Aku beribu ikutan raja dalam Facebook. So again, he's apologizing. I'm sorry, I cannot applaud you for your promotion because probably I'm just power-proof and I'm really busy. I'm busy, sharing posts on Facebook. And the last verse is, maafkan aku taulan, sekiranya aku buat kacau. Aku tak pandai berspontan, hanya bijak berkicau. Bak murai bertinggik di dahan, siapa yang hirau? Aku bukan ayam jantan serak berkokok garau. Aku bawa perkabaran. Namun kau tak perlu risau, dunia Twitter cuma cetusan kata-kata sesau. So yeah, I ended with another big tech giant, which is now known as X, but during the time it was still Twitter. So again, the protagonist is saying, I'm sorry, my friend, if I make any chaos. I'm not used to being spontaneous. I just know how to chirp, and I'm not a rooster. And you don't have to worry that my tweets are just simply tweets. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That's amazing. I mean, I do not understand, but what you explained, that itself was so funny. So, as a bilingual poet myself, I write in Hindi also. Do you feel that do you grapple with these words which are non-translatable, which you just know that in English it just cannot capture the essence? Do you feel with that, and how do you,
I think that's true. I think from Malay to English probably is easier. We could probably tweak a little bit here and there, but from English to Malay, I think there's a bit of trouble there. Like, for example, especially the trending terms, like, for example, like selfie. I think there's a council trying to figure out what is selfie in Malay. Okay, so eventually I think they resolve on this term called swafoto, which is a combination of Indonesian, a bit of a Sanskrit word, and even swafoto is English itself. So we come to terms with that. So like I say, there are terms that are non-translatable, but I think there is a workaround lah.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. We now invite our next reader, Yokai Chai. He is a poet, fiction writer and editor from Singapore. He has 3 poetry collections: Secret Manta 2001, Pretend I'm Not Here 2006, and one To the Dark Tower Comes 2020, which was awarded the 2022 Singapore Literature Prize. He has worked as editor-in-chief, entertainment editor and music reviewer in the media for almost 3 decades. He co-wrote Lilla Torg, A Scandinavian Journey, which is 2023, Lost Bodies, Poems Between Portugal and Home 2016, and The Adopted Stories from Angkor, which is 2015 with 3 authors. Warm welcome, Yokai Chai.
Thank you. I'm just going to read 2 poems. I think it's too long.
Okay.
Can I go to the second poem? The next one. Next one. Yeah, this one.
Okay.
This is a zoetrope. The zoetrope is, if you know what it is, it's a pre-film 19th century optical toy, which is made of a cylinder with slits. And what you do is that you spin the cylinder and you can see the animation being done. So a zoetrope is a pre-film toy for people to play. So I wanted to create a series of film-inspired forms. The first of which you're probably most familiar, which is called the twin cinema. But the zoetrope is the other one that I created, which for an anthology about Singapore independence. So this particular poem, it's called From A to Z. A glamorous zoetrope names parts of Singapore's latest new town via gemstones, female singers, and outer space phenomena. A zoetrope, in my definition, is an episidarian poem, which means that it is alphabetically ordered. So 26 lines. The first line will have all the words with the letter A in it. Then the second line B all the way to Z into the 26th line. So this line is kind of to mock Singapore bourgeoisie's tendency to name condos or whatever towns, name after European palaces, things like that, Spanish haciendas.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to have fun with it. So there you go. Opal Polaris Arita Supermarket. Big Bang Amber Beyonce Bakery. Mercury Colors Malachite Secondary School. Andromeda Dolly Diamond Void Deck. Sade Interstellar Radiating Moonstone Electronics. Fiona Fluoride UFO Florist. Sagittarius Gaga Sugilite Gas. Hubble Shocker Amethyst Hawker. Waning Gibbous Whitney Citrine Clinic. Jupiter Jake Jojo Jam. Strackle Conzite Cathy Kindergarten. Molecular Cloud Lord Lapis Lazuli Library. Mariah Comet Aquamarine ATM. Namula Nickel Zircon Nursery. Wood Cloud Bjork Snowflake Obsidian Petrol Station. Neptune PJ Sapphire Police Post. Quartz Quasar Quattro Aquarium. Coral Rihanna Orion Pharmacy. Sinead Supernova Turquoise Provision Shop. Prometheus Bloodstone Taylor Swift Interchange. Umbrella Ruby Amalu U-turn. Vesta Vega Aventurine Avenue. White Dwarf Winehouse More Sit Hardware. Suzy Gallery Exonite Taxi. Britney Milky Way Onyx Polyclinic. Zadora Zangazer Exotic Topaz Plaza. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that entertaining poem. That's excellent. Yeah.
I have.
Yes, one more.
Okay, and the second poem, it's called Shadow Cabinet 2. Let me explain what it is. It's also kind of a twisted twin cinema. It's two columns. The first column is the so-called textual poem. And then the right column is the subtextual column, and it's an anagram. So the column on the right are made of anagrams of the one on the left. So it's prefaced by an epigraph, a quote by Kate Robinson, an Amy Winehouse impersonator. So when Amy Winehouse died in 2011, she said, "It sounds sad, but it felt like I've lost someone, a friend." So with that in mind, I have a friend of mine, Desmond Korn, to read the left side of the column, and I'll read the right side. So,
Yes.
no, you can't read. You can't read.
No, you can take this.
No.
We're good friends, we're good friends.
Okay.
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 Walking out the mirror.
On mightier rod now lurk,
You don't quite know
and quiet walk toy mort,
who are left behind.
behead hinter wolf,
Reflection having merged
drag fleece hot virgin man,
with the object,
bewitch the jot,
larger than life,
feral earthling,
in the eye of posterity.
eterize your nifty poet,
A ventriloquist echo,
a voiceless fawn quit,
a mimic's day glow,
magma icy idols,
radiant as memory,
dreamy animator,
still as a slough.
a sail lock sloth,
One smells a rat,
Arsenal's motel,
scourge unchurched,
coerce hunch gurus,
mine untwined.
tedium new inked,
From this gizmo,
fights zoom rim,
whirring nearer.
roller in a ring.
That's lovely, very entertaining. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I think we understand that you had a bit of a gap, right, between your first collection and your...
Yeah. I'm very slow. Yeah, I'm very lazy.
Lazy. No. So do you see that, like, over the passage of time, that kind of like affects, or like, how does that work over your writing? Yeah.
I mean, I will tell you the truth is that I'm lazy. No, the truth is that I've been writing, and I always felt a bit out of time. I never felt that I'm writing on trend, so I don't care.
You don't need to write on trend, right?
No, but basically, there are a lot of wonderful writers, my mentees. But basically, I have a very interesting publisher who's very idiosyncratic, and that's it. I will just follow his itinerary, I guess. Yeah. No, but I think basically, I just don't feel like I need to publish for the sake of publishing. That said, there are the wonderfully provisioned and prolific poets here who are very, very good. But I'm not one of those. I'm a very... And also, I tend to want to conceptualize things, overthink things.
Yeah. And then you also did this Lila tour, right? It was an amalgamation of...
with Shuhong and Satyen and Semin. Yeah.
How did that happen? Like, did you...
No, because we are very typical Singaporeans. We like to go on travel, but we also like to create something. So I think to answer your questions, there are 4 personalities here. We're all very different. I don't think we don't write the same. But I think what I like about it is that we are all so different, but we're still friends. And I think after going on the trips and we are still friends, means we can still become...
Yes.
So we went ahead and write more collections, as you know.
Fantastic.
So friends first.
Yeah, of course.
So I'm sure you would have opportunities to do it as well.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. With that, we are going to invite our next poets over here, Dr. Chile and Tian Chai Pai. Tian Pai, he is a native of Penang Island. He earned his Master of Fine Arts in Creative Writing from National Donghua University. He was honored with the prestigious Taiwan Poetry Award, featured in the Best Books of 2020 by Singapore Liane Zabao, and shortlisted for the Singapore Literature Prize for his debut poetry collection, Isle of Pai. And Dr. Chile, of course, I need my specs here again. He received a BA Chinese and Education, National Taiwan Normal University, MBA from Leicester University, MA and PhD. And he's an associate professor at the National Institute of Education and executive director of the Singapore Center for Chinese Language, Research and Development. He was conferred the Golden Point Award, the Fang Xiu Literary Award, Singapore Youth Award, Young Artist Award, and Singapore Literature Prize. He has written and edited more than 20 titles and academic papers. A warm welcome, both of y'all.
Thank you very much. I'm naturally shy, so I've decided to ask Tian Pai to come with me to recite both our poems, actually. So we start off with Tian Pai's poem.
First of all, I need some, for the, a bit small, for the 2 lines, I need maybe a few audience to help me to read in the next page. The next slide. Maybe in Hokkien or Cantonese. Cantonese Shelley will help me to read for the Cantonese. Maybe just now I can ask Desmond to help me to read for the English, or just 2 lines. Never mind. Just sit at the audience. Sit and then. Ishan, can you help me in Hokkien for just 2 lines? You know, Joshua. Hokkien or Hakka? Hokkien, Teochew. Then
We have the minister coming very soon to read the poem.
Then
Minister will read.
Then I think the Cantonese and the English will do. Okay, I start the first poem. This one got no translation because some of the words is really hard to translate into English, and then the words were missing, like the tang gui actually is the herbal duck soup, but actually in Chinese got a lot of meanings. So the first poem. 一天睡醒，忽然想吃当归。那天烧腊档的小伙子突然对我說：
有啲嘢需要時間，你講啱唔啱啊？
我唔驚需要時間的嗎？你講對唔對？說完就轉頭剁他的肉了，剁剁剁剁剁剁剁剁剁剁。原本只想買份當歸鴨麵，被這麼迎面劈頭一問，不知所以然，而有點迷茫。口音聽起來像是同鄉，側面眼神透出不平怨憤，猜想他在異鄉默默隱忍，難以排解，以致對陌生人脫口而出的委屈種種。簡單的問題往往複雜，還是先回應一些什麼吧。雖然有些東西需要時間，於是倉促間回聲：
啱啊，對啊，
係啊，對啊，也memang betul。以便不致顯得失禮尷尬，可是也只能做到這樣了我。拖着說不上的無名虧欠，找個乾淨座位埋頭用餐，瀏覽此岸與彼岸新聞，當歸鴨麵滋味一如往常。那天湯底還多了份不盡然，僅僅是隱喻的濃郁。當然或許只是想多了而已。這件事不知不覺已過半年，沙拉檔小伙子身影一去無回，不曉得是否繼續留下拼搏，或已返回家鄉展開新生活。不管怎樣，願一切平安健康，路一直都在，明天會更好，對吧？也有2年沒見到家人的我，不知怎麼經常回想這麼簡單的一句話。Can we read aloud the both two lines? 有些東西需要時間，你說對不對？ Yeah, thank you. Because this one got no translation, so I just maybe make a background. Actually, today, last month, today, which is June 28th, is celebrates the Causeway 100 years between the Johor and Singapore. Yeah, we all know that the Johor Causeway, the Johor-Singapore Causeway, is the busiest land crossing in the world, with more than 300,000 a day. Yeah. So this poem is based on my real story. Yeah, because due to the pandemic, the border between the Malaysia and Singapore was closed from the March 18, 2020 to March 31st of 2022. So for a total 743 days. So I'm feel blessing and lucky that we can standing here and then without mask today. Yeah, but on that times, the 2020 on the eve of the Mid-Autumn Festival in 2021, at the roast meat store in Jurong West, the Sao La Tang. So a young man looking disheartened and frustrated and said to me, something take time, right? Don't think that? It's really a surprise for me. Yeah. So, but however, I just passing strangers, unable to ease his sorrow. So after half an of year, I wrote this piece during the Lunar New Year, Chinese New Year, because everyone cannot go back. I'm from Penang. I miss my families and friends. So dedicated it to the many travelers and the wanderers of the pandemic era. So this is basically the first
nice.
poem. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
And then-
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. The second poem is very short, and then I translate. The AI helped me to translate it in 3 seconds. Okay. In this morning, 1 p.m. So basically, you can see through the translation by AI. Okay. I think it's quite nice, the 3 seconds, but maybe something missing that I'm not sure. Yeah. So the second poem is 莫名其妙的诗。他写的诗很别扭，用词很别扭，造句很别扭，三不五时，还有刻意强调跨行的那种别扭。大家读着读着都忍不住笑了，且笑得非常自然，真的很莫名其妙哎，怎么会这么别扭呢？后来人们发现，原来它正是活生生的别扭。吃饭喝汤结账别扭，等车搭电梯尤其别扭，走路跌倒睡觉也很别扭。看别人别扭，看自己更是别扭。万物千奇百怪，无不别扭。于是人们在读这些别扭的诗句，别扭的转弯，别扭的人生，别扭的自己，点到私密穴道似的，纷纷别别扭扭的笑出声，且笑得有种非常莫名其妙的自然。Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much. And yeah, Dr. Chile, your poem. Yeah, the slide for Dr. Chile, please. Yes.
Yeah.
The poem. Yeah. All right. Thank you.
这个世界适合我们，因为
修路工人头上仍有鸟雀啼唱，高亢为生计而忙。
因为
机车烟雾下仍有氧气、氢气、豪气浩然正气。霓虹灯光外仍有星光、月光、日光普照佛光。
因为
立法院除了吵声，仍有心声、洁身、修身、正义之声。
因为
教室里除了困惑、迷惑、疑惑，更有不惑、解惑去千年惑。
因为
寝室中除了丢书、撕书、抄书，更是有看书、念书、写书不服输。
因为
家里除了埋怨不如愿，更有无怨无悔、任劳任怨。
因为
这世界除了我们的我们、你们的我们、他们的我们，还有我们的你们、我们的他们，还有人们的人们。与其要世界适应我们，不如去造一个我们适应的世界。Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much. With that, we have to come to a close. Although I feel that each of these wonderful writers here deserve a whole session to themselves. And we will keep it in mind for the next PFS, definitely. But we would invite you all to come here for a group photo, please, all of you. Thank you. Yeah. Eric is here? Please, Eric, join us in Bakam.
Yeah.